I'm often asked how would you know if a brush is still viable, if it's still a good brush, or if it's past its prime and needs to be put to pasture. And there's a very simple method to doing that. I'm just going to show you a couple of brushes here that I have. Um, this one here is a Da Vinci brush, number 8 brush. I've had this for a long time. I still use it from time to time, but its tip has faded and become old. And this is a bead brush. Again, both of these are Kolinsky's. No, sorry, the Da Vinci is a red sable. This is a Kolinsky, but both are natural hair brushes. And the best way to figure out if the brush is still viable, if it's still healthy, is to dip it in water. Make sure that it's well soaked in water. And then what you want to do is, and I'm going to do it in front of you here, is now that it's soaked, I'm just going to flick it once or flick it twice and look at the tip. And you can see this tip is not too bad. I mean, it's still a good, reasonable tip. It still comes to a point, but less of a point than this one, which is a brand new brush that I barely used. And again, I'm going to dip it in water, keep it soaked, and then just um, here, I just hit it on the paper by mistake, but flick it like this, and you'll see that this point is much sharper. It's a much sharper point, and it comes to a very thin, beautiful point at the top. You can also do this with synthetic brushes. Let me get a couple and see ones that I've actually used a lot and one that I haven't. So here's one, the brown one here is one that I've been using for a long time. And again, we just flick it once and you'll see it's still good. It's not bad, but it's not a very sharp point, where the newer one, if we flick it, you'll see a beautiful sharp point. It's almost a a needle point at the top of this thing. So comparison, you can tell one is a bit duller than the other, and obviously your experiment will let you know if your brush is still a good one or not. I see a lot of people still working with brushes that are very old. Um, I know there's sentimental reasons for doing that, and we like these brushes. We've had them for a long time, or they used to be, family members that there's a sentimental attachment to it. The reality is, if you want to create really nice sharp edges, calligraphy, you want to control the way the brush works. Um, as the tip fades, the brush becomes much harder to use. So put it out to pasture, give it to a younger person in your family who's an artist, or use it for less important things like putting Frisket on watercolor paper or something like that. But it's there is a time limit on these things. They don't last forever. They just, over time, um, as you use the brush over paper, and paper is, especially watercolor paper, is a bit abrasive. The tips tend to fade, and when they do, you just need to change the brushes.